All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal astrology forecast. This is for October 12th through the 18th. My name is Athen. This is, of course, for Sidereal astrology, the actual location of the planets in the sky. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the description because your sign might be different, and you'll want to make sure you're watching it for the appropriate sign. All right, so Aquarius, there's a lot of things happening this week, as there has been. It's been a very transformative past 6 weeks. And this week is no exception. However, as you can see, there's certainly a lot of blue supportive energies. It's a very supportive week, actually, considering how transformative things have been. We have a new moon on Monday, and we have a conjunction between Mars conjoining up to Jupiter later in the week. So let's start with the beginning of the week. This new moon, the lowering of energies, and it's a time of receptivity, trying new things, being adaptive, involving your 8th house. This is about the deeper connections of life. Nothing new here. You Aquarians have been probably reflecting on, or at least taking a step back from those deeper connections, whether it's the relationships, whether it's seeing the truth of the world, of the collective, of yourself. But now that energy starts to move forward, and because Mercury's going direct, and this new moon is about planting seeds there. So asking yourself where you want to see yourself in a couple weeks, but also in the next 6 months, in regards to what's really meaningful to you, what's really deep, what you really connect to, how you can be more vulnerable, more honest in general with yourself, with your relationships, which is something we can all do more of, but really connect and have that truth, see that, have that transparency with yourself primarily. And so that new energy there, it will unfold, and it'll be more clear as the week unfolds, but asking yourself those kinds of questions, setting your intentions around these things. Maybe it's involving, the non-material. Maybe it's even maybe releasing yourself from debts, unhealthy attachments, unhealthy relationships, where maybe you're learning how to step into your power, where to draw that line in the sand, things like that. All these things are seen from the 8th house, and it will be different for each of you. But whichever those, you feel like resonates, whatever you're feeling like right now at the moment, that's the kind of energy that will likely be unfolding over the next couple weeks and the next 6 months. Because in 6 months, you're going to have a full moon here, and it will be a culminating point of this. But anyways, early in the week, it's still a little bit in flux. Mercury's still very slow in the sky. This new moon is going to be squaring up to Pluto and opposing up to Uranus. So these first few days of the week, it's all about change and structure. The squares, they're not easy, but they can be very constructive when we're open to it. So for you, maybe it's, some fears that need to be released to that 8th house in order to make this change here. Maybe there's some, actions to be taken that just need to be done. And again, it's Pluto, so it's really stepping into your power to do that. And as long as it's coming from compassion, as long as it's coming from the right place, and you're centered in the process, then it does become very constructive. This opposition up to Uranus does suggest that there are changes happening with the material, financial, your values in life, but there's a lot of old things being released here because the South Node is in the 2nd. So old concepts about your values, about finances, about your self-esteem and things like that is releasing, and it's through that releasing energy, it's allowing you to move forward with these new beginnings around what's really deep, what's really meaningful, and everything else 8th house related. So that's the early part of the week. Saturn is sextiling up to Mercury, so things relating to your self-expression could be quite good. It's all about this patient approach. Saturn is going into your 10th house, so for the next couple of years, it is about setting solid foundations with your career, with your legacy, and that's a good energy to work with this early part of the week. And it's all about this life path, because the life path has been shifting. It's been sextiling Saturn. There's perhaps been some opportunities there. And it's not so much in flux as it was last week. Things are certainly moving forward, but still a good week to be adaptive and to try new things with that. So that's the first, 3 or 4 days. Then around Wednesday, Thursday, Mars conjoins up to Jupiter, and Jupiter has been trining up to Pluto. So there's been this strong supportive energy here with your relationships and also with your networks, your groups, the past week with this aspect. But now Mars joins the mix, and Mars is about your career. It's about your communication. So there's opportunities with career this week. There's things certainly shifting and changing. There's a positive change happening there. There's optimism about that, good communications, and a good motivation, I think, to really pursue maybe the financial, material aspects of life, maybe connect with those groups, those friends, and all of that can go a long way. And it's all happening in your one-on-one connection sphere. So for you, it's connecting, and whether it's your romantic relationship, your friend, family member, one-on-one connections can really go a long ways right now. I think there's a lot of motivation, and there could be something new there, or at least, it could be a new relationship, could be a new take on an existing relationship, but at the very least, optimism and a general good fortune about your one-on-one connections. And very motivating with Mars. So that's the second half of the week. Venus is also opposing up to Neptune, which is nothing new, actually. We've already had all the fast-moving planets oppose up to Neptune from your first house. But now Venus, the last one, the last straggler of these fast movers, forming her last and final aspect up to Neptune. So it is about balance with self and the uncertainty about self, not knowing maybe where everything is unfolding, and maybe even who you are to a degree, which is Neptune in the first. But that's a good thing, because we're not labels, we're not boxes. We're so much more than a particular image, and that's what Neptune, you might say, is showing you, is how to relax into being more than a certain ego or image or thing or person or label. And it's a very spiritual time in regards to that. But nothing new. You've already seen this uncertainty, maybe even with relationships, but it's a final integration with Venus opposing Neptune. Even uncertainty about home life, about traveling, things like that, since Venus does rule your fourth and your ninth. But, it's about faith and trust and relaxing into that. So Aquarius, the high points of the week, the strongest astrological energy is the fact that we do have a new moon in that eighth, new things shaping up about what's really meaningful to you in relationships, in your work, career, home, family, all areas of life, with yourself. And things moving forward with that, with Mercury going direct. Then later in the week, more opportunities with those one-on-one connections, relationships, career things, and your communications. So Aquarius, have a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.